And boom. Ready? Are you ready? One. All right. Say hi to everybody. Hi, everybody. Kean, you want to come say hi? No. You scared? No? Okay. All right. Go sit down. What's your show? All right. So today we are going to be in Isaiah 42, verses 1 through 3. We're also going to be in Proverbs 18:21. That one's a later on down the road, but I will hit that one up at the end too. But today's topic is we're still covering these heavy topics, these things that no one wants to talk about, right? These are the things that no one wants to talk about. And today we're going to talk about being bullied. Right? I had a situation at school that I'm going to tell you about that really, it just kind of hit up that this lesson really pinpointed the issue that I was dealing with at the school. So I'm excited to get a part of this. So what I'm trying to get across is today is when forced with unrelenting negativity, we can trust in the truth of who God made us to be. We can trust in the truth of God. So first I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start off and I'm going to read Isaiah 42. Isaiah 42 verses 1 through 4. Actually, it's really just 1 through 3. I'm going to read all 4 verses. I'm going to explain those. And what you see here is Isaiah kind of is like an overview of the entire Bible, right? At this point, Isaiah he's foretelling what's going to happen when Jesus comes. This is a kind of like a fortune teller. Hey, the servant's coming and he's going to change the way life was. So in Isaiah chapter 42, verses 1 through 4, this is my servant. I strengthen him. This is the chosen one. I delight in him. I have put my spirit on him, and he will bring justice to all nations. He will not cry out or shout or make his voice heard in the streets. He will not break a bruised reed, and he will not put out a smoldering wick, and he will faithfully bring justice. He will not grow weak or be discouraged until he has established justice on earth. He coats the islands. The coast and islands will wait for his instructions. All right. So what you're seeing here is the passage points forward to the coming of Jesus Christ, who's filled in the Spirit of the Lord. His coming brought about the justice that the people of God have so longed for. In spite of the great task, the coming one did not give up or grow discouraged, but he persevered in his work until he accomplished exactly what God sent him to do. So what does that have to do with us? Right? We are all Christians, and our goal is to strive to be like Jesus, right? That he is the one that we're trying to be like. And as we go throughout, as we go about, I guarantee you most of the middle schoolers are watching today, or most of y'all have dealt with some sort of bullying in general, right? And as you sit there and you think about these bullies and things like that, what are their purpose? What if are you being the one bullied? That'd be the question I guess I should ask. Are you being the one? Have you ever went and gossiped behind somebody's back? Have you ever gone and made fun of somebody? Right? Now, you think about that, right? And think about how the other person feels. Think about the person on the receiving end, right? I've used this analogy with some of y'all. Some of y'all are going to hear, a lot of times we visualize and we have this cup that we have, right? We have this cup. Come on. Go ahead, Zach. Come on in. Come on, Zach. Come on in.
I was turning off my phone.
Well, I'm live and everybody just heard you show up late. Just so you know. Here's your seat right here, Zach. You sit by me a little, buddy. So with that being said, right, we have this whole think about how the negativity affects the other person. And I've used this analogy before. You have your cup, and in Psalms it tells us that we have a cup, and our cup runneth over with blessings. But a lot of times we're not able to see these blessings because inside of this cup, we have these. Inside this cup, we keep all of our problems. We're not ready to give those to God. We're not ready to let those go. So what happens is we can't receive all the blessings that God gives us because our cup's constantly getting full. And then eventually what's going to happen is our cup's going to get so full with all these problems that we're carrying, we're going to break down. And that could break down into depression, sadness, crying. It could break down into just about anything that you can think of, especially on the negative side, especially if you're on the receiving end. And one of the analogies that it pulled up that it wanted me to talk about was, and everybody can picture this, let's say that you have a backpack, all right? Everybody has a backpack because everybody pretends to go to school. Y'all don't listen to school. I'm not silly. But what's up, Pierce? But everybody has a backpack, right? And inside this backpack, every time that you are told something negative or you're made fun of, you put a rock inside that backpack. And you continue. Eventually, that backpack's going to get over full. I have multiple people I work with that are in the military, or if some of y'all are in the military or know somebody in the military, right? And you know what it's like to carry this 50, 60-pound rucksack. All right. And that's essentially what it's like carrying all these negativities that these bullies are portraying. Right. That's what it's doing to you. So we as youth are very vulnerable to that because we're still kind of trying to figure out what's our purpose in life. What do we want to be when we grow up? We're all going through different things throughout our life. And I want to come back to Genesis 1, verse 31. Genesis 1, verse 31. What's up, Elijah? And Matt, how are you doing? We're going to start moving upstairs because we're getting a little packed out in here.
Hey, Elijah.
Stop talking. All right, so what we have in here is Genesis 1, verses 31. Jacob answered, I was afraid for I thought you would take your daughters by force. I am not in the right section. Chapter 1, verse 31. All right, so going back to what I was saying. God saw that he had made, and it was very good indeed. Evening came, and then morning on the sixth day. So God has created everything. God has created you. God has created the places that you've been, the trees, the plants, the animals, everybody that you come in contact with, God has created. And God created them, and God saw that they were good. So if you've ever been on the receiving end of being bullied, if you ever heard this negativity, if you're carrying this 50-pound backpack of rocks and stuff like that, God created you for a reason and a purpose. And God knows that you are good, okay? So keep that in mind. Now let's go on to the other side and let's see what Proverbs 18:21 says. Now, like I said, I was dealing with an issue at school the other day. And I was dealing with this issue at school, and it aggravates me still as I think about it. It doesn't surprise me that people were picking on someone because that's kind of what it's like being in middle school. Y'all have to figure out who you can pick on, and y'all going to pick on that person. What bothers me the most is the fact that there was people in the classroom that I expected to stand up and say something and defend someone, and they didn't. And I know a lot of y'all are very popular in your school, especially in your small social groups. And your social group can make a big change. And chapter 18 of Proverbs, verse 21, it says, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who live it will eat its fruit. Let me say it again. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. So, those who are speaking truth are going to be fruitful. Those who are causing sin are going to be sinful. And whatever you're choosing to do, because you control your own tongue, right? It goes into another verse that popped up in my head was James 3 verses 2 and 3. And it talks about how you can lead a horse to water, or you can control this horse by just putting a bite or a mouth guard in the horse. You can control this powerful animal by just tugging one way or another. And how is that? How can you do something like that just by pulling? Well, life goes for all of us as well. That we are controlled with we are who we are based off what we say. Our actions speak louder than words, but our words can do a lot of damage as well. And, we can put a mouthpiece in a horse's mouth, and something so small can control something so powerful as the note that I put down. It is crazy that you as a person, if you notice these things going on, or you're the one causing the bullying or whatever it might be, you can control that. You can stop it. If you're the one witnessing the bullying and you don't speak up and say something, you are as guilty as the other person, because you're guilty by association. If you chose to sit back and watch it happen, you are just as guilty as the other. Now, you didn't do anything, but you didn't stick up for them as well. So what I want to challenge y'all to do today as I close out is I want you all to speak up in dark times. I expected a handful of students that I really enjoy having in that class to step up and say something, and they chose to just sit there and ignore it. Right? And they could have changed someone's life, but they chose to pass. Okay. I encourage y'all to stick up and defend whoever's going to invite them to your social group or do this or do that. It doesn't matter. As long as you're showing that person love and showing that you're not going to let them be alone in this situation, you got that. Some ways we can do that is called reverse gossiping. And reverse gossiping, what it is as you're in a social group and you're talking with your friends about somebody and you hear something positive, go tell that person, man, we were talking about you and we really enjoy how hard you work, or how much you care about your schoolwork, or you're a really good athlete even though you don't think so. And we were talking about what you do well, right? Things like that. It can go back and forth, but just think about that, okay? And as you go forward, as you start this process, just keep in mind that, you could be goofing off. You could be, you're not mean really what you say. And that's what a lot of I got Friday. They weren't meaning what they said, but it's not about what you say. It's about the way it's perceived. And the way the person took it was negative, and that's what made it look like a bullying situation. So realize that as you are talking and as you're goofing off, it's not about the way you perceive it. It's the way that it's being accepted. Okay, so just be careful with what you say. I love each and every one of y'all. I know y'all ain't bullies, most of you. So, but I care about y'all. I love y'all. If y'all ever need anything, if y'all feel like y'all are being bullied, come and talk to me. I'll be your biggest advocate. I'll make sure that I can do everything in my power to stop it, whether that's giving you ideas to positively think and get rid of your negative thoughts and things like that. So, all right. So I love y'all. Let me pray for y'all, and we will go. Lord, I thank you for all the many blessings you pour upon us, Lord. I thank you for just giving us opportunities to just grow. And I enjoy seeing students in person. I enjoy seeing people log on and just ready to dive into your word, Lord. And they're hungry and they're thirsty. And I pray that what we're giving them is just life to breathe your word. Lord, I pray that as we go throughout our day and we're in the darkness, that we're that light in the darkness. I pray that we make smart choices and we control our tongue, and we control other people's tongue, whether it's just us being a positive person in that situation. Lord, I love you. I thank you for everything that y'all do. In your heavenly name I pray. Amen. All right. I will see you all on Wednesday. Finish. Just let me know it's done. Yeah.
I would swear to goodness, if you do that one more time, I'm going to break your